If you've ever had trouble installing a 9004 or 9007 bulb in your vehicle, I'm going to show you guys how to take care of that today. In front of me, I've got an early 2000s Ram truck headlight, Ram 1500 headlight, and this truck took a 9007 headlight from the factory. If you've got 9004s, you're working with a 9004, this information is going to be the same thing. They really install the same way. The only real difference is the pinning and the connector. So on most of these headlights, you're going to find a collar like this one. If you twist it and pull it off just like so, you can get the bulb out. Pops out just like that. Now, if you're doing this, you're probably upgrading to LED. In my right hand here, I've got a perfect fit bulb. And in my left hand, I've got the stock 9007 bulb. As you can see, very, very similar. And as long as you note the orientation when you took the bulb out, it's really going to pop right in the same way. Press it in like so. Take your collar and just give it a clockwise twist. Locks in place. You can reconnect your wiring and reinstall your headlight. Now, let's say you didn't get the perfect fit bulb. And honestly, the reason they're called the perfect fit bulb is they're extremely similar to the original bulb in both size and install. Now, if you're not installing the perfect fit bulb, you're likely installing the Supernova V4 bulb. It's a higher performing bulb, it's a much brighter bulb, but it has a fan and an external driver, and so it doesn't quite install the same, and this is where the confusion sets in. This is where people get hung up a little bit. In the Supernova V4 box that you get with your headlights, you're gonna find an Allen key, and that fits into this Allen bolt here on the collar. And what you need to do is remove that. Be careful not to strip these out. It's a small screw, it's a small Allen head screw. The last thing you wanna do is strip it out and have trouble later. Pull the collar off. Take your 9004, 9007 collar that was on your headlight, install it onto the bulb, and then put your collar back on. Tighten it back down. And honestly, you don't need to go crazy tight with these. The last thing you want to do, like I said earlier, the last thing you want to do is have this thing strip out, and then you won't be able to work with it anymore. There we go. Now, with that done, it's going to look something like this. As you can see, I'm going to be able to install the bulb, insert it into the headlight, twist this down. My fan's going to have plenty of room. Everything works out just fine. Bring it back over the headlight, press the bulb into the headlight, and lock the collar in place. As you can see, fits just fine, and now we can take our driver and connect it to our factory wiring. Nothing to it. Now, one thing I've got to show you guys that is common on bulbs like the GTR Lighting Ultra Series bulb with a larger heat sink. These are one of the brightest bulbs that you can possibly buy today. However, because of that, they tend to run a little warm, they need a bigger heat sink, and so when you take this collar off and install it, you won't have any trouble until you go to install the retainer and then the bulb into it. And I'll show you that in just a second here. This collar presses into the back of the headlight like so. Insert the collar just like that. Install the retainer, and as you'll see, the retainer fits fine. However, the heat sink of the bulb is just a little too large, and it runs into this retainer. And it doesn't run into it by much, but it's just enough to keep me from locking it in. And you see this with honestly quite a few bulbs on the market today. The perfect fit and the Supernova not being among them. So if you're wanting a simple plug and play option, those two bulbs are great for you. If you want the brightest option, like this bulb, what you need to do is either sand this down, modify it a little bit. A lot of people do that. It's a quick and easy fix, some sandpaper, a belt sander, whatever you want to do. Or you can go to your local parts store. Dorman makes a kit that you can buy at Napa and I believe O'Reilly's that will allow you, it's a more low profile retainer. As you can see, this one's pretty thick. If you install that in place of this one, you won't have any trouble. So, one thing to consider when you're doing this kind of an upgrade. If you're having trouble with anything else on your vehicle at all, feel free to comment below, reach out to us via email, phone number, whatever you want to do. We're here and we're happy to help you guys out. Thanks for watching.